What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the Star Wars Shatterpoint Meditations, where we talk about the most recent game of Star Wars Shatterpoint that we have played. I am joined by Jason, and if you did not watch that game, you're jumping in here. It was a Grand Army of the Republic victory in 2 struggles with a lot of really interesting movements kicking around here.
Yeah.
And so basically what happened at the very end there, after just a coordinated effort at this point, just always being the important point, Anakin was able to come back and just dummied Bo-Katan.
I mean, I had the force to hit her again if I needed to, but he got her in 1.
Oh my goodness, did he ever? 5 crits.
Yeah.
5 crits coming through on me, man.
Absurd roll.
That was bonkers. I was looking like Bo-Katan has 8 health. I got protection. Yeah, I should be fine.
And based on the math, all I needed was 2 to go through on both attacks.
Which is fair, which is fine. But at the same time, I mean, based on the math, no, you needed more than. Oh yeah,
that's 5 damage, so you take 4.
But even so, it's like I feel like I should be able to do this, and then just 5 crits.
Yeah.
Like, well, okay, I can't do anything about that. Lots of back and forth in this game. I don't even know where to start on this particular one.
Yeah, this was all over the place. I mean,
do you have an MVP?
I mean, Anakin at the end, obviously. But honestly, even though he went out, Rex, just that first turn with Rex gave me such a good board superiority that it was really, really big going into the future rounds. I think Rex is my go-to first turn with this style of list, because I run something similar to this before.
I think Rex is really solid. I was actually going to say Rex is probably who I would nominate as your MVP, because he took this point back from Maul very early on.
Yep.
He got everyone else into position. He did a lot of his own damage and everything like that. So yeah, I would say Rex was probably your MVP.
Yep.
I honestly don't know who I'd nominate as my MVP. I don't know if it'd be Ahsoka or. I don't think Maul really did enough to really be considered an MVP for me. But
Maul kind of dummied Kenobi near the end, but that didn't actually affect the outcome of the game much.
No, it didn't. I wasn't forward thinking enough. Maybe what I should have done is maybe I should have actually pulled Anakin towards me instead.
Just to keep him far away from the
Just to keep him far away. But I mean, I was thinking, based on the dice rolls, there's no way that objective is constantly going to be the priority objective.
Yeah.
Just freaking priority objective. I don't think in any way did I get diced or anything like that. I would have liked if the objective went my way a couple more times. You sneaking in and taking this objective was huge.
It was, because I mean, that one on my turns, that one was the priority one. I think twice this struggle.
I don't remember. Because
it was at the very end.
I don't remember how many times, but it was. Yeah, maybe twice. But either way, you taking it away from my super commandos and then wounding my super commandos, just keeping me from being able to actually get in there and do anything with it.
Yep.
I mean, that was a big deal. So honestly, I don't know really what to say about this one, because I think this was a very by the book sort of game, and it kind of came down to where the priority rolled, and then just making the best decisions at the time. And I think you made the right decisions at the time. I don't think you really made any weird misplays anywhere.
No, I think the only thing I kind of regretted was a couple times I could have triggered, like I'm always first kid and stuff like that I was like, I should have done that.
But you end up using that force for a lot of other things anyway.
I did, and I was, at least with my first deck, I was pretty happy with how I was able to use the force, and I think I got the most out of it. After the reshuffle, I didn't end up using much, but that was good because it meant Anakin had the resources that if he didn't just one-tap her, he had a good chance of doing it on the second.
Yeah, and actually, I'm thinking back to it. If I had gone into Anakin with Maul, he would have been exposed, and I would have been throwing 12 dice at him. I made the wrong call there. I should have gone into Anakin.
Yeah, there's a world where you would have taken him out instead.
Because I don't like Kenobi would not have taken Bo-Katan out in 1. I don't think.
Although actually, with that in mind, Anakin had 11 health, and Maul's maximum output was 10.
That is fair, but at the same time, he would have been stuck all the way back here.
And Django still would have hit him.
And the second he activates, Django just basically goes, nope, not so fast, and takes him out, right? So I should have done that.
No, that makes sense.
And that's so. You know what? Okay, let's actually have a quick discussion on target priority in this game. Target priority is something I've discussed in a lot of the other games that I've filmed and all that sort of stuff. But let's have a quick chat about target priority in this. It's very difficult, I think, to really figure out who is the most important character to go into, because you never know who's being top decked.
Yeah.
All right.
I definitely agree with that. Is as we get to the kind of the later turns of the, I'm not round is the wrong word, but I'm going to say round
The
instead
struggle.
of shuffle.
Yeah. Okay. The later activations. Yeah.
Yeah, later activations of the deck, when you only see one or two remaining, you have a lot more control over kind of trying to see what your opponent's going to do because you know who they're going to activate in what order,
Right.
or at least mostly. And I find in the early turns, it's very much it's hard to pick. I mean, generally speaking, I try not to target models that have already went unless they're
It was
in
a pretty
position
easy
that's
decision.
bad.
There was an angry Maul right there, and you're
Exactly.
like, no, we're just gonna shoot that little bastard.
Yeah, like Maul had to go because he was on points, and I know he's Maul, so I also want to slow him down coming back to me. And like over here, the Mandos had to go because they were contesting things, and at a certain point, once I had damage on them, I just wanted to get the momentum for finishing them off.
They held on a lot longer than they probably should have.
They did hold on for quite a while. And that was another thing where I was like, I maybe missed some triggers with things like I'm always first kid and having Ahsoka go in there. But
Well, okay, so think of it this way though: with the amount of times that you're talking about, you missed "I'm Always First, Kid."
I realistically only missed
would've-
it once.
I think you missed it 2, maybe 3 times.
Well, I mean,
but
because
what
of
I'm
the force cost.
and what I'm kind of getting at here though is like if you were triggering it more, you might have been in a position where you didn't have the force you needed
Yes.
with Anakin at the very end there, right? Because Rex did spend a lot of the game injured and wounded, right?
He was for most of this game because you took him out pretty quick.
Yeah. Ahsoka came up there and kind of ruined his day pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You didn't really get a lot of use out of the Kenobi hunker tokens this time around.
No, I mean, once Rex got dazed, he wasn't doing defensive maneuver anymore, so he never had a hunker of his own. Kenobi, I noticed, doesn't actually have great ways of giving himself hunker. And then the 212th and the 501st, I mean, they had hunker most of the game, so I guess they were getting use out of it, but...
Now, mind you, like my 2 Mandos just went into the 212th and
and they just obliterated them.
just obliterated. Like the 212th got one activation.
You know what? At the end of the day, that didn't matter because I never pulled them again.
Yeah, it never mattered. And honestly, I only went in them because it was a target of opportunity and I was kind of trying to set up for future
because you were just setting up for the next struggle, right?
And for the most part, my strategy worked out well.
Those Mandos are the reason I could not touch that point.
And honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that that was the priority point so many times, I think this struggle would have been mine.
Yeah, I mean, I said multiple times in the first half of the struggle that it was leaning pretty well your way. And I mean, once I took this back one, I was kind of like, okay, actually, I'm still in this. I can
momentum
turn this
shifted back your way quite a bit. Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, that's why I won this struggle was the momentum tokens as well. Just being able to kind of say that model is actually going to be finished off here. That model's finished off here. I know at the end of the last struggle, it was a conscious decision not to finish off Maul until the beginning of this one because I wanted to save that momentum. That's why I went into something else. I don't remember what I went into, but
I don't recall either. But yeah, and it goes into this idea of like, okay, who's the most beneficial person to punch at any given time? And yeah, like you made a couple of really good calls there, and it ended up really benefiting you in the grand scheme of things there, right? I mean, I might just have to face the reality. Maybe I'm bad at this game. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's too early to call that.
Too early to call. But we've had a couple really solid games so far, and I mean, this is the second game that like a struggle's really come right down to the wire. And there's been that last minute steal.
Yeah,
right?
well, like I mean, going into this turn, I don't think you expected me to win this turn. Until I talked through the Anakin
I knew you had a path.
Yeah.
Right. I knew you had a path to victory, but I wasn't expecting the dice to just go full tilt.
Yeah.
Right. Like 5 crits is just insane because I had I think I want to say I had 4 blocks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you did get rid of all my regular hits there.
1 regular hit.
Yeah.
Right? I had 4 blocks. If even just a couple more of your crits were blocks.
Now I did only need
hits, right?
2 crits on both attacks, and he does convert 2 crits.
And that is fair. But all I'm getting at is you rolled exceptionally well.
Yes.
What you needed. You got your expertise to give you those extra crits, and you know that just stacked on top of 3 existing crits as well, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't have been able to do it in 1.
So I was hoping for at least 2 or something like that, but you know it is what it is. It's a dice game. It comes down to that sometimes. And I mean maybe that was my tactical error, just ignoring Anakin for as long as I did. Mostly because he usually doesn't do anything for me, so I wasn't really thinking much about it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like it's
And to your credit on that, Anakin hadn't done anything yet this game. That
No.
was the first meaningful thing Anakin did this game.
so it's just like real Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anakin comes in and takes all the glory at the very end of it.
Exactly.
This is Obi-Wan and the 212 on the bridge, and Anakin just walking up saying, "Hey guys, we surrender." Oh look, there's the droid. Okay, Rex, get him. Like, that's what this is. This is Anakin being a freaking diva and going like, "Yeah, I'm the hero. Yes, sir."
Yeah. No, and that's exactly what this did.
Kenobi's over here with like a broken nose, just like you little bastard.
Yeah, Kenobi's been fighting Maul. Ahsoka's been fighting Shadow Ahsoka here, and
okay. So that's actually a really funny thing. Everywhere else on the board was going my way. A lot of it, like a lot of the fights were going my way, ignoring stupid little Anakin, right? So it's interesting. It's really hard to say how do you accurately target people on this.
yeah.
Right? And the fact that you had Anakin sitting in reserve as well, that helped.
Yes,
as well.
I think putting Anakin in reserve when I did was definitely the right call. I didn't even expect to be using him this struggle. I mean, when I put him in reserve, I said this is for next struggle.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then the opportunity came up, and he's got the mobility from the middle of the board to get to pretty much any point and just say that's mine.
I would have been pulling Django next. I think one more turn, and I probably could have taken the struggle. To be honest, like if I had kept you to here.
I do have a strong lead on both of these points now because you have pretty much.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, okay. You know what? I think even looking at the top deck of Django, I don't know if maybe I do or not.
Yeah, like
I might have been in a bad state one way or the other.
If Anakin hadn't been able to kill her, if I went with the safer play, stayed on the front side, and just went for the push.
I guess it all depends on like if this becomes the priority over here, then Django like wanders over here, pulls somebody off. And then
I still have two there, yeah.
Well, no, because I pull somebody off, right?
Well,
I use his cables.
That's just the one.
Yeah, and I use his cables, and then I just jump him.
Oh yeah,
in.
he might be able to get into tie.
I jump him in, and all of a sudden it's mine.
No, it's still mine.
No, because I thought. Oh, that's right. I never committed with Ahsoka getting all the way. That's right.
Yeah, so that would still be mine.
So.
Yeah, like at that point in the game with the Super Commandos wounded and Bo-Katan wounded, it actually would have been really hard for you to come back on that struggle.
Yeah, looking at how everything kind of went down there, I might have actually been in a bad state whatsoever.
You definitely started this struggle at a really good upper hand. I mean, just with the positioning of where they were really.
Yeah, you're taking this one was a huge swing in your favor. Well, anyway, I think we've said what we need to say about this game. Jason, great game, man.
Yeah,
had a lot of fun with
fantastic.
it. Looking forward to the next time we get some guys on the table here.
Definitely.
And for everyone watching, hopefully you had fun. Sound off in the comments below. And yeah, if you're looking to support the channel, patreon.com/AegisBrand Studios. We'll see you next time. Happy wargaming.